Yes. Yeah.
But like the comparison, like with me and some of the other guys.
So that'd be something neat to see, the Harris Centers at
The Pirates playing in Williams.
Welcome to the Non Sports Podcast, episode 42, the home of sports talk for everyone. I'm David.
I'm Jason.
And we have a guest with us today, Johnny Bobble himself.
How's it going today, guys?
It's going good. I think at this point, he's the unofficial third member of the show.
Yeah, Oh yeah, it's a given, basically.
Is this like number 3, maybe?
He's the hat trick.
4.
Are we at 4? We're either at a hat trick or we're at 4.
You're at 4 because you did one with the 3 of us. You did one in place of me when I was on vacation. You did the joint episode with Brad and Brig.
Yep, and then this one.
I forgot about the one with Brad and Brig.
And we gotta mention here, John is the host of the District Baseball Together podcast.
Yes, episode 1 is out there on YouTube. You can go check it out at any time.
Did Brad post it on YouTube?
Yeah, I think he said he was having issues getting it out to the other ones, so he posted it today. And the intro music is fire.
Yeah, he puts together some good music.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, episode number 2 will hopefully be coming out probably mid-month. Hopefully there's some things to talk about with the Nats. There hasn't been much going on other than a 29-8 loss the other day.
Oh, that was bad. Go ahead, David.
Some of the scores I've been seeing were pretty lopsided.
There's been a lot of really high-scoring baseball games. And
a lot of double digits.
And a lot in the 20s. So it's like, it's spring. It's still early.
Yeah, it's the preseason.
Yeah.
Preseason baseball.
I do have a pie bet in place with Brad. In regards
I saw that.
I said at this point, I don't see the Nationals winning more than 50 games. And he's going with the over, so we'll see.
I got to say, boy was in the group chat for our fantasy baseball league. Jewel was ready to pounce when that score happened with that Nats game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tried to throw a little bit back at him, I think, yesterday with the Mariners talk. Just trying to tell him, like, nobody wants to play in Seattle.
Fight words.
It's early. We'll see how the season goes.
I know Jason's been saying about the Phillies. Yeah, I don't want to give up to, I don't want to put my prediction out there yet.
I didn't. I'm on the Philly baseball pod. I didn't.
The Phillies season will come a lot down to the rotation.
That's what you've been telling me for a while.
If their pitchers are on, they're going to be really good. If they're not, then we'll see.
Then it'll be like last year. Okay.
Well, the last 3 seasons, it's been the bullpen, and that I think's shakier than the rotation. But let's just call this the first period since we're talking about MLB, and that was the topic of discussion for the first period.
Yeah, this is the first period. Why not?
I mean, I think it's like Aaron Nola. He's got to get his stuff together. Mentally, I think his is more of a mental thing more than a physical. Wheeler may be the exact opposite. I think he thinks he's an ace, but his body doesn't believe it. And then it kind of from after those 2 guys.
Eflin's got to stay healthy for a whole season.
Yeah, it's
because when he's on, he's good. He's a solid number 3.
Right.
Did I say it in the group chat or did I say it to Tori? Gibson's got to just stay where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
He's a solid anchor in that 4th spot. And really, Suarez is the biggest question mark because he did phenomenal in 37 games as a starter, but he has to do a whole season as a starter, and that's a big difference.
Having those rotations of those 2 or 3 guys and then having a bullpen to back that up it's major nowadays. You can normally get away with a couple really good aces, or not aces, a 1 and a 2, and then maybe a 3 and a 4 to put a game together. But at the end of the day, if your bullpen's not very good, you got to have those 3.
I mean, the question always is, will they stay healthy? Because we all know at any moment your top player could just be done.
And the Mets are dealing with that right now.
Damn, DeGrom, what is he going to be out?
4 weeks approximately, last I saw.
And then is Scherzer also kind of?
Scherzer is listed as day-to-day on fantasy. He has a tweaked hamstring.
Oh. He's a dog, though. I mean, he's a guy that's going to come in and give it his all. They're going to have.
That's why he was my first pick.
Yeah, they're gonna have to carry that guy out on a stretcher when he's 60 years old before he's going to quit playing baseball. He's just a competitor.
Yeah, it's the love of the game.
Yeah. You got to love guys like that, though, really. And he's getting paid. Like, I think that's the running joke right now with the Nats. Like, the second or third highest paid guy on their team right now is Max Scherzer, and he's playing for a division rival. There's your love for deferred money in Washington.
I'm going to feel bad for you as a Nats fan if they don't extend Soto.
It's one of those things that, like, I just kind of want it to either happen or not. Like, I love Soto, but I understand if he doesn't want to be there. Like, to me, if they tried to get a team-friendly deal right before the lockout, and it was just a poor decision by them. It's another poor decision by the Nats front office. It's not like they don't do it every year, every other year. Like, as much as I dislike Bryce Harper, I 100% understand why Bryce Harper is not a Nat.
Same with Rendon.
Yeah, with Rendon, it's the same thing. I don't think they wanted Rendon to come back, which is really crazy to me because that entire offseason, all I was saying was I would rather have Rendon back than Strasburg.
Well, it seems like a running trend here. Nationals management.
The Rendon one for me is weird because when I was in the office, I'll listen to day games on my phone. I'll pull up the TuneIn app because they have the MILB, deal, and I'll throw on a Sens day game or a Reading Phil's day game. And Rendon was the guy I always talked about when he was with the Senators.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, he was a guy I knew even before he was in the majors, and why they wouldn't keep a homegrown guy who was becoming a star or was a star just blew my mind. But, I mean, they have, sadly, a track record of doing that.
Right. And if you look at homegrown guys, and I think that's why they need to back the truck up for Soto. If you want another guy to put on, everybody likes to have their Mount Rushmores. And right now, the only Nationals player that could even really be considered for that is Zim.
Yeah.
After that, like, you've got Expo players on there. So to me, Soto could be that guy. But you got to be willing to pay him the money, and he's got to be willing to understand that you're not going to compete for probably 5 years. This is year 1 of 5.
The problem's going to come in with Boris as his agent.
Right.
So he's going to try to get him money. He does, and he's going to end up going to. And I think Torrey's right. I think it might be the Cubs.
The Cubs, that would be. I can see that, but, I'm really kind of after having the discussion the other day. If he isn't a National, I would love to see him in Seattle. That puts him clear on the other side of the country. I really don't have to see him play that much anymore.
Come on, tell us how you really feel on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe some folks, they're competing for a World Series next year.
Here's the thing that sucks. I would not dislike Bryce Harper as much as I do if it was not for the fact that he went to a division rival. Like, you could have went and played in California and, back near where you grew up. You could have went anywhere, but you go to Philly.
The weird thing about him choosing Philly is he went years. He wanted a long-term deal, and that's so mind-blowing for a star player.
He wanted home. He wanted a place to find home.
Oh, and it's sickening, like, how much he fits in Philly. It's sickening how much he fits in. Like, his first base hit against the Nats, he's, like, waving and bowing to the crowd, and it's like, you arrogant.
Well, he was bowing to the Philly fans in right field.
Yeah.
Because a bus went down.
And then I think that's when he hit the double when he got up and waved. And then when he went out for fielding, like, went out to play right field, he bowed to that section. I remember what you're talking about now.
Because that was the game of the bat flip, too.
Yeah, because he smoked one in that game. I remember.
Well, he was getting his, hey, look where I'm at.
Actually, what really turned the corner for me with Bryce was that clip online of the girl yelling, Bryce, left hand tits, right hand ass. The fact that he played along.
I gotta give you credit for that. Since we're talking Phillies, though, like, I mean, Phillies fans thinking World Series, they're up there pretty high on the odds this year.
Well, it's just like every typical Philly sport. They always want their team to, of course, win. Phillies are always looking, not just the Phillies, but the Flyers also are looking just to win overall. But, of course, we all know the Flyers
are. Rest in peace, Gerard, or Claude Giroux.
Pretty much at this point. Because he was going to get traded no matter how you look at it.
Right.
But the Phillies, I mean, every year it's just a Philadelphia thing to where they look to rebuild despite if they don't need to, just to win a championship.
Yep.
And that's a very common thing.
I'll say the same thing I said on the Philly pod. A lot of things have to go right for them to be in the World Series. And that's not saying a lot of things need to go right in their division. I mean, a lot of things need to go right internally on that team for everything to happen that way. The rotation's got to be good. The defense has got to be better. The bullpen's got to be on point. They can't get hit with a really bad injury bug. Just too many things, too many variables have to happen for that to.
Do you think this is the best Phillies team since the World Series run?
I'll answer it like this. I don't have the same feeling for this team like I did for the 08 team. I knew in 08 they were going.
Yes, you did.
Unquestionably, from the beginning of the season, I knew it was happening.
Yes, you did. Do you believe they have as much talent as that team did?
You can have as much talent. It's just how they mesh together. And I'll throw this out as the Rangers of the 90s, where they had Lindros and so many other great players, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. So to me, it's really not just talent-wise. It's how well a team can mesh together for that playoff run.
I think that is the intangible that the 08 team had, is so many of those guys played in Reading together, played in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre together. They came up together. So they were already a well-oiled unit by the time they all made the majors.
They meshed.
I think the two other big additions they made in Castellanos and, of course, Schwartz, they're kind of what I consider like blue-collar baseball players. I think they're going to fit really well. It's really going to come down to, I think it'll come down to Bryce Harper's leadership, and it'll go from there. But as far as mesh, I think that the Phillies could mesh really well with the guys they have there now. But as like we talked earlier, it really comes down to that rotation more. If they're not healthy, if those three guys are not on, it's going to be tough. Like, I mean, you're looking at teams like the Dodgers. It's really hard to think of anybody beating the Dodgers when you look at them on paper.
Well, I know right now.
But you know what? People said that in 08 too.
Sure. I know right now the Phillies are ranked 11th for the World Series draft for favorite to win a World Series. 11th. I mean, okay, yeah, they're up there, but I mean, yeah, this is still spring training. So, but with everybody they got, like you said, on paper, they have a good, they have a good looking team.
A very surprising team up there, and it might be just because I'm not looking at them on paper, and it just seems like every year one of their guys goes away, and that's Houston. I'm really surprised to see Houston as high as what they are.
Yeah, they're at fourth.
Yeah, the Yankees, that's not really a surprise. I think Toronto, as high as Toronto's up there, Toronto could be really good, but they could also be disappointing.
I genuinely think the Blue Jays are going to get the East for the AL.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, they're ranked third on the MLB draft.
I mean, we got to be honest. This is essentially the same Yankees team that all but quit last season on Boone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect miracles to happen. I don't think they're going to fall back in love with him as a manager overnight, that clubhouse.
You know, one thing I was thinking about the other day, and I never brought it up too much to brag, but when you think of the great Yankees teams of the 90s and the teams that were way back in the day, do you know what's different between them and most of the Yankees teams you see nowadays?
Shoot.
They're not, okay, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Rivera, all those big name guys, they were all drafted into that system.
Yes.
They were all developed. When you look at this roster of Yankees and you look at the rosters of Yankees Since they did win it in 2009.
Yes.
Right? Unfortunately.
But other than that team, like most Yankees teams that are not built in the system have not been successful.
I think Judge is the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's from their farm system.
I mean, yeah, they just traded off Sanchez. He was a farm guy. But John Carlos was Miami. Garrett Cole, Pittsburgh, Houston, whatever you want to call it. Who else is out there? Josh Donaldson. He was on multiple teams. I think Toronto is where he got his start.
I think so, yeah.
But all those guys, like, they've got the names. The names are on paper. They're like anyone else. They're a little bit older, but they've got the names. But I cannot think, and even the team that won in 2009 for the Yankees, there was still a lot of farm guys there.
It was still a lot of those guys from the late 90s team.
Right. So, like, A-Rod might have been the only one that stands out off the top of my head that was a free agent.
And that's just because he was a big free agent.
Right.
And a head case.
Say it how it is.
But
now, what do you guys think of the Dodgers?
Hold on. All props to A-Rod. He's a way better play-by-play guy than he was a personality.
He's a better play-by-play guy than he was a baseball player, and he was a great baseball player.
So I shouldn't say he's the Tony Romo of baseball play-by-play?
It's comparable. Tony's good, man.
He is. We say it all the time.
Like, Tony's great. I really enjoy Peyton and Eli just because I feel like I'm sitting in my living room watching a football game with the Manning brothers.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
So it's like that's very enjoyable to me. I don't think I watched a Monday night game if they were on. I watched their telecast. I didn't watch anything else.
Well, that's good for Joe Buck next year.
Joe Buck.
Them two roasting each other. I mean, you know.
Oh my God! And the way Peyton, I'll never get over the way Peyton eats food. It's disgusting.
Peyton's funny in general when he roasts people. Did you watch when they did the Peyton, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, and Phil Mickelson?
The golf game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I didn't watch, but I seen a little bit of the highlights of the stuff you're talking about, though.
Peyton was just roasting Brady left and right because he kept bringing up the Eagles and Nick Foles. It was hilarious just looking to him go.
But now back to a little bit of what we were talking about there with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have done nothing but continued to get better. You add Freddie Freeman today, Craig Kimbrell coming over. That's a
which I legit thought was an April Fool's thing.
I did too until I read you all's message and I had to go back and look. I was like, oh, it really did happen.
So, no joke, exactly like what I sent. David messaged me. He's like, the Nordiques are coming back. And, we're history guys. So, we're that's awesome. And then I see Kaepernick signs with the Patriots for 3 years, $9 million. I'm like, that's surprising, but it's money-wise, it's not unreal. That's, reasonable. It's not
$3 million a year is not bad.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. What day is this? It's April Fool. Oh, my God. David, this isn't happening.
Because I was I was so excited when I saw with the Nordiques. I was like, oh, yes. I just took a snapshot, sent it to Jason.
So I thought Kimbrell going to the Dodgers was like another one of these.
And then you find out it's not. That's what.
But it's not surprising because he was unhappy last season.
Well, I'd be unhappy playing for a guy like Tony La Russa also.
See, unfortunately now, he used to be a guy I'd think of a certain way, and now all I see is him in the Southside jersey with his hat backwards last year.
Yeah. I used to, I loved Tony La Russa until he went to Chicago. I'm sorry, the best side of Chicago. Let me make sure I can make that clear.
Oof.
But yeah, Tony La Russa, I'll always let him, remember him for his old self. I'm not going to remember him in Chicago.
Slightly on topic, there's a great I don't know if you ever watched the Beef History on Secret Base. where they talk about sports feuds, and they have one on La Russa, and oh god, I'm blanking on his name now. Manager for the Astros did the Nats.
Dusty Baker.
Yes. The two of them and their beef, and it's a tremendous watch. I highly recommend it.
By the way, there is a great Dusty Baker bobblehead that the Nats done that looks exactly like him. I just like to throw that out there. It is a great bobblehead.
For the record, after seeing your Senators collection, that is phenomenal.
Oh, see, but I don't even think I sent you like the Hershey Bears collection either, did I?
I don't remember. I know you sent the Senators collection, and it was spectacular.
It's not as big because they haven't done as many, but it's still it's fun, man. The Senators it's insane. My new set, it's gonna take years to complete, but I'm doing the Innova Blood Drive Washington Capitals. So they're only available if you donated blood, and they averaged about $750 per. So a little bit tougher to get, and they average price wise around $50 each. And there's 40. So if you do that math, it's not very pleasant. But
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Hey, that's what makes it fun, man. It's the chase, it's finding those deals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting for that one. You gotta find all the deals that you can.
Man, so looking at this potential World Series draft, I think the White Sox are the biggest sleeper because at the end we're still so used to the White Sox being this team where they barely drew like hundreds of people to their stadium a few years ago. But they're a legit threat.
You know, the White Sox, and I think the guy we talked about will be what holds the White Sox back, honestly. There's a ton of young talent there. The rotation's strong, and they're young. But I don't think the managerial side of it is very great.
Do you think he's too old school?
Yeah, I don't think he blends well with those guys. You're talking about a lot of guys that are under 25 years old, maybe 20, let's say 28. And La Russa's, he's up there. So I don't think he meshes well with them. This will probably be his last year in Chicago, unless they win it all. Then it's a whole different story. But
I was just going to say, if they win it all, I think they're going to sign up for at least 1 or 2 more years.
Oh yeah, yeah. If he finds a way to make it work there, then he deserves to stay. But if there's too much, it's one of those things when you get a team with that much talent, and you're not like they made the postseason last year.
Yeah.
But they wasn't really ever in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they have another year like that, it'll be cut bait and start with somebody else.
So real quick, I want to hit on 2 teams that might implode. The Padres and the Mets.
The Mets will 94% possibility of imploding. Because they are the Mets. And it's already starting to turn the wrong way. The Padres, we'll see. I can see that though, just because I still don't think they have the pitching. I think you've got Yu Darvish that's not really that great. He's never been
he never lived up to expectations.
Right. And then Blake Snell, he did not look like Blake Snell last year when he was healthy.
I think there's also still some personality issues in that clubhouse.
Right. Yeah, because Manny is not a nice person. He is a very tough personality for anybody to deal with, and he wants to be the leader of that team. And yeah, there's guys in that clubhouse that I don't think it meshes well with.
I would find this all hilarious if I see the Mets are 6th right now on the World Series draft. I would just laugh if all this is complete opposite, where the number 1 team gets, everything just flops.
Well,
right.
I made the prediction the other day that I think the Nats are actually going to finish ahead of the Mets. Because I think when the Mets implode, it's going to be bad. And unfortunately, Buck Showalter is going to be the one to take the blame, but I don't think it's going to be his fault.
Yeah. And what's funny, the Nationals are ranked 24th on that list too. So for them to finish above the Mets, that has to be a major implosion beyond belief.
I think a sleeper team to watch this year will be Detroit. I don't think they're fully there yet, but they've added some pieces. And with the pitching, between Adam Rodriguez from Boston, and then you got the guys like Casey Mize coming up, they could end up being pretty good.
Maybe it's because I talked to Brad too much, but I feel like he's on to something with the Mariners because they got real close last year. Real close. Closer than the Phils even got. They have a lot of young talent.
You never know.
I think it comes back to the same issue that we've talked about for multiple teams. Robbie Ray can't go out and throw 4 games in a row.
No, he can't.
And that's where, like, even talking with Brad, I don't know a ton about the Mariners, but, like, Robbie Ray is the only name that comes off the top of your head.
I know J.P. Crawford because he was in the Phil system until they traded him.
And then you've got Rodriguez, just because he's an up-and-coming top prospect. And then they got, who is it, Jerry Kalinick? I think I pronounce his name wrong every time. But he's another decent one, but he struggled last year. So, I don't know. Brad follows them probably more than most people follow their religion. So, he might be on to something.
I can't wait for that message after he listens to it.
You got to share that one.
No, he listens, so I'll get one.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm good. I got nothing else.
I'm good. You, John?
I'm good.
In that case, that'd be the end of the first period. Be right back after a short break.
For the listeners of the Not Another Sports podcast, if you visit fansidea.com and use the code NASPOD, NASPOD, at checkout, you will get 10% off your order. Fansidea.com is the place to go for custom-made jerseys, hoodies, shirts, and other gear. The perfect product, perfectly stitched, sublimation, or perfect embroidery, 100% handmade, delivered on time. That's certainty, and it's their promise to you. Again, use the code NASPOD, NASPOD, at checkout for 10% off your order. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see David's NASPOD Flyers-inspired hockey jersey. You can see my show colors jersey here that we got custom-made, fast shipping directly to us from Fans Idea. We believe in the product, and we want to share it with you. Again, NASPOD at checkout at fansidea.com.